Well, for those of you just joining us, better late than never here in the late stages of this third period. We are all tied up at 3 in this one here tonight. Sends the pass over. The Capitals played along the boards. Blocked in traffic. New York's regained possession of the puck.
Pominville's determination on the puck, even though he stumbled and has a lack of balance, really shows right there, James, as he finds a way to get that pass through to the shooter.
Tries to the crease. Big time stop.
Liederker's dialed in and anticipating the play so effectively, making a huge save from a dangerous spot on the ice.
And that's offside, stopping the play. Just here in the late stages of this frame, we've got a tie game. The Capitals win it. Here's a short pass to Pominville. And that's broken up. Strong use of the body to force the puck loose. Centering feed! And then Heron's off a twig in front of the net. Can't hang on to the biscuit after that. Well, no surprise this was coming.
Yeah, and there's all those other things that happen in a game that we don't even see, and you know that they've exchanged words throughout the course of this game, and they're finishing it off with a battle.
The old goalie fight. This place is loving it, Cheryl.
You got to wonder if they continued on because of all the energy they were getting from the fans. You don't see goaltenders going at it too often.
A little 4-on-4 coming up here. The Capitals get a hold of the puck off the draw. Deflected away. Nice defensive use of the stick there. Inside of the final minute here in the third. Big stop right there. Goaltender covers up and will get a face-off. A big draw looming here in the offensive zone. Washington's won the draw. Through center along the wing. Here's a shot. Big time save. Oh, he is looking good in there tonight. New York's gained the line and into the zone. Washington's in transition. Looking to make something happen in the offensive zone. The Islanders have it now. Exploring options here inside the defensive zone. Looking dangerous as they move along the boards. Puts it on net. Scores! The go-ahead goal puts them in front.
Well, now they're in front, James, so they'll have some energy. You know that their first few strides will be more urgent, but they'll have to be accountable on the other side of the puck as well. erupts with this goal. A ton of pressure and urgency in the dying seconds of the third here, James. And that could wind up being the game-winning goal.
The Islanders win the faceoff at center. Receives the pass. Time ticking away, and he comes up big. Washington's time is running out in this one to try to even things up. They've had plenty of scoring chances, but no finish tonight. There's the horn, and that's the hockey game. The Islanders weren't necessarily the better team in this one, but yet they found a...
I'm done making perfect deals down there. I can us and make deals like hockey still like they're gonna get
Now let's take a look at some of the rest of the action tonight in the NHL. The Kings faced off with the Canucks. Vancouver pops like popcorn in this one, and they skate away with the win.
Nope. Why?
Let's check in on some of the final scores across the league tonight. The Oilers went toe-to-toe on the road against the Senators. Edmonton treated everyone to a magical offensive display, and they come away with the win. The Stars were hoping to come up with 2 points on the road against the Wild. Dallas poked out a victory in a tight one. The Knights were hoping to fly high on the road against the Bruins. Vegas topples the opposition with a strong effort at both ends. We are as cool as ice, and we are bringing you many more stories from the NHL. We're doing it next. Let's take a look around the league and some of the final scores out there tonight. The Canucks were hoping to quiet the crowd on the road against the Ducks. Anaheim put on a show offensively in the win. The Bruins had a tall order to fill as they tried to take 2 on the road against the Red Wings. Detroit topples the opposition thanks to coming up big in the shootout. The Stars battled it out against the Flames. Dallas partied it up in the win with a huge offensive effort. Don't even think about touching that dial or touching that button. We've got plenty more on the ice, and that's next. Let's take a look at the scoreboard and what went down tonight on the ice. The Bulls were looking to grab points on the road against the Capitals. Washington takes this one thanks to a strong defensive effort. The Blackhawks were looking to steal 2 points against the Islanders. Chicago popped home the winner in the extra frame and get the 2 points in overtime. The Penguins took to the ice to battle the Senators. Ottawa took this one in a shootout as they get the extra point. Lots more puck talk coming your way, and we'll get to it next.
I think he's been ending hockey points behind. I don't want to see it talking over hockey point 4. I don't want to see it with hockey points. I don't want to see that happen. But this is bad. I don't want to see it.
Time to take a look at what happened around the league as we check in on some of the scores. The Jets took to the road to match up with the Hurricanes. Winnipeg perseveres through the night, and they get to the shootout where they pick up the extra point in the win. All right, at this time, let's get you caught up on all the action on the ice tonight. The Isles took on the Kraken. Seattle takes this one in a fun one. The Bees were in a dogfight on the road up against the Golden Knights. Boston posts the shutout with a brilliant defensive effort. We got to take a quick break, but we got a lot more coming your way next. Let's take a look at the rest of the action on the ice tonight in the National Hockey League. The Devils look to run roughshod over the Capitals. New Jersey tested their mettle in this one, but they still come away with the win. The Wings took to the ice to lock up with the Sharks. San Jose performed brilliantly offensively in the win. The Wild paired up with the Penguins. Minnesota technically was as good as it gets defensively in this one, and they get the win. We'll check the inbox, we'll check the text line, and hear what you have to say next.
What happened to push your eyes start?
All right, at this time, everyone, we'll catch you up on what went down in all the action in the league tonight. The Golden Knights faced off against the Stars. Dallas posts the win thanks to a big offensive effort. All right, lots of wild happenings on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at some of the scores of what went down. The Capitals were hoping to grab 2 points up against the Rangers. The New York Rangers took it to the net in this one, and they pick up the win. The Jets had an on-ice collision with the Avalanche. Colorado peppers the opposition with a strong offensive performance for the win. The Blues were looking to steal 2 against the Wild. Minnesota totals the opposition with a big offensive night. Late goings of this third period of play. For those of you just tuning in now, better late than never. It's a 4-1 game to this point. Read that perfectly with the poke check. Colorado's got a hold of the puck now. And the goalie covers up for the whistle. Montreal's on the schedule next, and tickets still available for this one, so get them before they're gone. Here in the late goings of the period, a lot of offense in this one, mostly from one side. We've got 4-1 the score. Oh, and he takes possession of the puck from off the wing with the centers all locked up there off the draw. Takes a shot, turns him away. Takes a bump but still hangs on to the puck. Grabs it at his own end. Final minute of regulation here, and it should be it. Into the middle of the neutral zone. Oh, a clutch save!
That's a fantastic save by the goaltender, but this team has to do a better job of protecting the middle of the ice. Those high danger spots.
Well, better late than never. You knew this was escalating.
Oh, you could feel it. I mean, throughout the building, James, every time they've been on the ice together, there's been words, there's been some edge, some good hits. Now it's resulting in a tilt.
Well, you don't see two goalies dance like that too often.
Yeah, the distance that they have to travel to get one another. I'm not sure if they're more tired from that or from dropping the glove, the blocker, and going at it.
As we get set for the face-off, a chance to see both teams in a little 4-on-4 action here. The Avs win the draw. Colorado's got a hold of the puck. Takes the feed. And that shot dies in traffic. And the goaltender grabs that one for a whistle to try to slow things down here. Puck possession so critical. Another face-off coming up here. They take possession as he locks them up off the face-off. And he rings the post!
The Avs need to find a way back into the game, and that's not...
They score! What a counter-punch they set up!
You said it, counter-punch. You know the coach is going to love this. This quick, timely response. When you look down your bench, you got to know that there's personality. You can go out there and provide some energy for your team. They just did it.
On the truck, play resumes. Looking to make something happen along the boards. That goes off a twig. Washington's got the puck behind the net. Can't get a hold of that pass. Quick pass to Green. Scores! And there's the counter punch we were looking for, Cheryl, as they answer back.
Well, they answer back and they take the wind or the momentum out of their opponent's sails. This is exactly what they needed to get back on the board and get the momentum shift back in their favor.
The Avs win the draw. And that'll do it from ringside here. And on a night like this, relief is spelled W-I-N.
It certainly is, James. No one feels better than that entire group as well as the coaching staff. I mean, it is so tough when you are on the other side of a streak and you don't know how to dig yourself up. It becomes so difficult to get up for games. You know, the mental resilience that is around it as well, but they get...
Busy night of action on the ice. Let's take a look at some of the finals that are in from tonight. The Capitals were in a dogfight on the road against the Avalanche. Washington plastered the opposition with goals, and even more goals. The Kings had their hands full with the Blue Jackets. Los Angeles turns in a complete effort, and it's enough to pick up the win. The Ducks took to the road to match up with the Jets. Winnipeg powers their way through late to come away with the win. We got to take a quick break, everybody, but we've got a lot more to get to. Stay with us. You know, and quite the contrary to what some people are saying, I like the fact that the coaching staff has that sort of trust that they can go to this player and tell him, look, you said you were all in here. You said you wanted to win a Stanley Cup. Well, we need you to kind of seal the deal on a playoff spot for us right now. You need to secure that spot because if you want to win a championship, you need to be in the playoffs, right? Even this guy, this handsome devil here you're listening to, can figure out the math on that. To win a Stanley Cup, you need to be in the playoffs. So you got to take care of step one, and that's actually get to the dance before you lift the cup. All right, time for a quick break. We got a lot more on this. Well, some fun, some drama, a little bit of everything on the ice tonight. Let's take a look at some of those scores around the league. The Blue Jackets were on the road up against the Predators. Columbus toughed this one out, and they get the 2 points. Time for a quick break, but we got a lot more coming up on the ice next. And I want to bring it back to kind of the rock star here for a second, right? This is a different player we're seeing this year. And I think what we've seen over the last few days has really hit that home. You know, there was all the talk leading up to the season that there was going to be a different approach, a more serious approach, a more dominant approach. And you know what? He's delivered on that. I love it. Wanting to win a championship, we've seen that. Step one complete, right? And the fact that he's got a good enough, strong enough relationship with his coach to be challenged down the stretch to say, hey, you remember when you were talking all that? Remember all that noise? Let's not make it noise. Let's make it reality. And you know what? That first step has been accomplished, and that's getting into the playoffs. Now they got a shot to go and chase the real dream, and that's hoisting Lord Stanley's mug. All right, time for a quick break. We got a lot more on this. You know, and I want to bring it back to kind of the rock star here for a second, right? This is a different player we're seeing this year. And I think what we've seen over the last few days has really hit that home. You know, there was all the talk leading up to the season that there was going to be a different approach, a more serious approach, a more dominant approach. And you know what? He's delivered on that. I love it. Wanting to win a championship, we've seen that. Step one. Welcome back to the show, everybody. James Cybulski with you for another 20 minutes. And, you know, hey, as we get started with the Stanley Cup playoffs, it is a different animal, these games, right? Every game becomes critical. And I think a good start is critical for this team. And that's why I don't mind the coach kind of saying it publicly. Look, we need our puck stopper to be better. We need him to help steal us a game here, to make those saves that, you know what, even if they look like a tough save, you got to make them. That's what's winning a Stanley Cup. That's what winning a championship is, right? Going that extra mile. I don't mind those public comments because I also think that he can handle it. He's shown that resiliency in goal all year long, and I think he's got that temperament to handle that challenge because, look, if they're going to win, they need to get off to a good start here. Back to the phones we go. Brett is on line 6.
But one of my rules is that I'm trying to clarify. I won't put in the bounds that so when they come like why you what? Who does that? It's my I usually walk. I usually walk. I don't like it off that. Hell, who you put in there?
You know, and I think it's easy for a lot of people to sit there and post the pictures and the gifs over the fact that you talked about being in it to win it this year and you came up short. But you know what? They looked good all season long. They just ran into a better team here. I'm not going to sit here and bury this team. You look at these two teams, how they matched up, and over the course of the series, the better team won here. This is not about what somebody didn't do or rise to the challenge or rise to the occasion. They simply got beat. And sometimes you just have to tip your hat to a better team. And that's what we saw, case in point, here tonight. Let's get to the phones. We got Joey.
I need to drink it.
I think, hey, look, I get why the fan base is disappointed, right? Hey, look, you play to win, right? You play to win the game. You want to win championships. And I will say this. I loved what the coaching staff had to say about his play because of the fact that, man, he was noticeable every night. He brought it, right? You can't look at him and say, you know what, we didn't get enough out of him. He was great in the postseason. Loved his energy, loved his compete. And I think, hey, look, I get why the fan base is disappointed, right? Hey, look, you play to win, right? You play to win the game. You want to win championships. And I will say this. I loved what the coaching staff had to say about his play because of the fact that, man, he was noticeable every night. He brought it, right? You can't look at him and say, you know what, we didn't get enough out of him. He was great in the postseason. Loved his energy, loved his compete, and I think what you heard from the coaching staff there just moments ago, I think they felt the same way as well. All right, back to line 5 we go. Who is it? It's Naveed. The whole narrative and the expression being good in the room, right? Chemistry is important with a team. How many times have we seen teams that are absolutely stacked with talent and they fall apart? Why? Because there was just a disconnect within the room. And I know with some reporters and some of the media members asking the kid, saying, hey, you know what, how do you endear yourself to teammates more? I don't know if there's ever really an answer. I mean, you can go out and, try to be the best player you can be. That's one way to do it. Personally speaking, I think another great way to do it is buying everybody pizza. Because you know who likes pizza? Everybody, right? Everybody loves pizza. Let's go back to the phones here. Let's go to Brent. Brent is online. Well, for those of you just joining us, better late than never here in the late stages of this third period. Philadelphia is officially on blowout mode here. From the neutral zone now. Pokes it away in his own end. Here's a shot. Big save.
Goaltenders work so much on their reaction time, and man, this is just a clinic right now as he flashes the glove and makes the save.
See if we can pick up some momentum again here, and the face-off is ready.
incredible save, James.
Well, talk about finishing up strong here.
Well, this tilt is a result of the first two periods. They've both been playing with an edge and a chip and have exchanged some words, too.
This place going wild after watching two goalies who haven't been near each other all night go at it, Cheryl.
And equipment flying. Usually you have someone else stand in for your tender and stand up for them and protect them, not two goaltenders going at it.
Batten down the hatches. Things should open up here with a little 4-on-4 on the ice. And play resumes as the puck is dropped. Under a minute to go in the third. And that's out of reach and out of the offensive zone. Quick feed to Dexter. Nice defensive robbery with the stick. Right up the gut into the offensive end. Denies him. He got all of it. Handles the bank pass from along the boards. The Flyers looking against the half wall. Big time stop with the glove. In front of the net, the goaltender covers up for a whistle on the play. Carolina's got the win off that draw. Scrum along the boards as they battle for the puck. And some fancy footwork to kick it over to his teammate. And the crowd's on their feet, saluting the team after a hard-fought effort this evening. Puck is frozen, and we get a stoppage in play. Both teams gliding into position, and the official set to drop the puck. Carolina's got the puck inside the offensive zone. They dominated in the face-off circle, just didn't translate into a win.
Yeah, it didn't really get him much, did it, James? I mean, you can have underlying numbers that...
guys are saying goodbye. Goodbye. Goodbye.